Good afternoon. Welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day. Due to the conditions in the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, the departmental government held a risk management council to analyze contingency plans for possible climate changes that could generate an emergency.
In the last few days, authorities have been monitoring conditions in the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, following the development of a tropical wave that has a 70% probability of cyclone formation within 48 hours and 90% for the next 5 days. For this reason, the government held a risk management council with the objective of developing contingency plans for the eventual climate change. In turn, Joseph Martinez, coordinator of the Risk Management Office, commented.
We were meeting in the Disaster Risk Management Council precisely following up on this atmospheric disturbance issued by the EDM in its communication 114. We met so to activate our contingency plan, personnel and machinery to give a good response. The recommendation to the community is to secure their roofs, columns and windows. This is the ideal time to make these adjustments. Remember that the emergency lines are 1, 2, 3, and by those lines is the only line where you can make your requests.
It is important that the Maritime Guild is attentive to the communications issued by the port captaincy to avoid emergencies at sea after the weather conditions that have been occurring in the Caribbean Sea, as stated by Port Captain Marco Antonio Castillo.
The Port Captaincy of San Andres, on behalf of the Maritime General Direction, will issue the respective communiques warning about the special conditions to take into account regarding the phenomena that is occurring over the next few days throughout the length and breadth of our Caribbean Sea. For that reason, the invitation is to extend and attend the safety calls that will be transmitted via social networks, emergency phones, and especially via VHF Marine.
It should be noted that the authorities are constantly monitoring the weather conditions and will be issuing communiques for the community to be attentive to the evolution of this natural phenomenon that has a high probability of cyclonic formation during the next 48 hours, of 70% and 90% in the next 5 days. Therefore, it is important that the community abide by the recommendations and secure their roofs, windows, and have on hand an emergency kit.
The road located in the cargo area of the airport was filled with gravel. Teleislas News obtained some opinions from people who passed through this place. In the meantime, information is being received from the Infrastructure Secretariat.
The Secretariat of Infrastructure and Public Service conducted provisional integration work on the Carrera 13 adjacent to the cargo warehouse area of the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla Airport. On the site, machinery around base application and soil consolidation, which will improve mobility in the sector. The head of the portfolio, Alfredo Escalona Peterson, said that the work will continue to advance on this important route that connects the entire district. Fourth, it is noteworthy that the departmental government is taking action to intervene completely the route, as has been done during this term in sectors such as the Orange Hill, Pepper Hill, and Fort Garner. Teleislas News spoke to some bystanders about it. We have had more than 40 years with the street that we can't cross when it rains because its street fills up and the dirty water is not fixed. We have to look for a boat to cross. I'm seeing that it's not very regular. It would be better if they put a mix on it or fix these streets better.
Regarding the street, when any rain falls, it fills up and it is impassable for cars and motorcycles. The filling that they made is regular because it does not have proper drainage. Anyway, it fills up with water. Although not much, it does fill up with water.
This news agency will be expanding on this information as soon as the Secretariat of Infrastructure responds to the call from this news agency.
And the Ministry of Culture carried out on the island the socialization of the call for the National Consultation Program 2023.
For all creators and cultural managers of the department, an invitation is extended to the opening of the call of the National Program of Consultation 2023 of the Ministry of Culture, which seeks to support, enhance, and highlight the initiatives that promote cultural knowledge in the territory.
Ayer tuvimos un espacio de socialización de la convocatoria.
Yesterday we had a space for the socialization of the National Call for Proposals, where the idea was to tell the cultural sector of San Andres the change for the call for the year 2023. In this case also to see the guidelines and competence of the new government. There are significant change. For example, in order to have better access to the community, a revision of the study and the form of the requirement was made to make it much more affordable. So the requirements are no more minimal, and that is a big difference from previous years, since this is call that has already been in the sector for several years.
This call will focus on 4 axes with the aim of generating a greater participation of transversal populations and with the aim of centering the arts and cultures as a central being value of the construction of a channel for peace. They are training, arts, cultures, and knowledge for life, development, and strengthening for cultural expressions, artistic or cultural heritage projects, artistic, cultural, and heritage projects that contribute to the construction and consolidation of peace, and finally, circulation of the arts, cultures, and heritage.
Sí. La invitación igual es pues como al sector.
The invitation is to the cultural sector, to the foundations, institutions eligible to apply. In fact, we talk with the people and they say that the churches that represent a cultural aspect can also register. We also talk in the front of the lines of the minister to carry out the development plan in the cultural field that are access such as the peace and cultural diversity that are related to the line of education and art for life.
The registration form will be available until October 10th through the link concertacion.mincultura.gov.co. The Ministry of Culture seeks to generate greater participation and opportunities for all, as well as to exalt and distinguish the diverse voices with the population inclusion of all the communities.
And a few hours ago, the DIAM issued press release 118, where it changed the level of alert, which passed from surveillance to warning after the passage of a tropical wave located in the Caribbean Sea, with probabilities of becoming a tropical depression.
The archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina is on warning after the latest report from IDEAM, which is the entity in charge of permanent monitoring together with other instances of the National Disaster Risk Management System, which report that a tropical wave is located in the southeast of the Caribbean and moved to the west with a speed of 50 knots. According to the National Hurricane Center, the system is forecast to move west-northwest across the eastern Caribbean Sea over the next 2 days and will be at the center by the weekend. Regardless of how well the system developed, it is likely to affect northwest Colombia with heavy rains and gusty winds over the next 2-3 days. The most recent projection indicates that the probability of cyclone formation is 70% within 48 hours and 90% for the next 5 days and will move west-northwest across the eastern and central Caribbean Sea. The DIAM recommends being attentive during the next few hours to the announcements and information issued by the entity and the other local and municipality emergency authorities, especially in the insular area of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina, and the Colombian Caribbean region, and to attend to indications and recommendations of the control emergency and response agencies.
Well, the idea is to communicate to the community in general that we received a special communication from IDEAM, which has changed from a notice to a warning, and that indicates that there is a probability that in 2 days a tropical cyclone will form with a percentage of 70% and in 5 days with a percentage of 80%. Emphasis must be placed on this formation that was nominated by the National Hurricane Center, which is doing research and has a track record in the Caribbean Sea. Right now, it is in the southeast of the Caribbean Sea, and we are waiting for it to enter Colombian territory to see how it will behave and in what direction it will go. The cone indicates that it will pass through the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina. At this time, there is one more trajectory affecting Providence Island. However, it is too early to give any general indication regarding this tropical wave that it is likely to become a tropical cyclone. But just as part of the Risk Management Office under the Government Secretariat, we are giving instructions to the community such as to be super attentive to these special communications that are being issued by the IDIAM, the MAR, and the Risk Management Unit through the official web pages of the government, through the page of the IDIAM and the National Risk Unit. These recommendations are to be attentive to the communication issued by the DMAR. They may be closing maritime activity. Be attentive when I say to close our boats. Be super aware of the communications that come out on the radio, television, and press. Secure your houses, such as doors, windows, roofs, and others. Have our emergency kit prepared and our contingency plan. Be attentive to any change in the weather system in order to make certain determinations.
An opportunity for merchants of the islands to generate more sale is being guaranteed by the Chamber of Commerce to improve their store showcases through workshops and training that will be held today and tomorrow. Here is more information.
Do you want to know how to create a successful showcase? The Chamber of Commerce, with the help of a national organization, will provide training in window dressing to businesses in the islands.
Entonces vamos a estar haciendo capacitaciones.
So we're going to be doing trainings and workshops in the area of perfumery, fashion, appliances, and we're going to go to the stores. We're going to change their showcases and explain to all merchants how it works. The showcase in a store, generally what it does is attract the consumer. It attracts the attention of the people who are passing by. So the idea is that we always have them in order, that we have inspiration so that we do very well in the season according to the type of customer, and in that way we can increase sales.
During the morning today, September 22nd, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, a training was held in the Nautical Club room. And in the afternoon, the perfumery sector will receive training at the Chamber of Commerce. For tomorrow, September 23rd, the household appliances sector will receive training at 9 a.m. and the fashion sector will receive training at the Chamber of Commerce in the Alejandro Rankin Hall.
Our Teleislas regional channel will be part of a new proposal that seeks to exalt the country's tourist diversity through a journey you can enjoy from your homes.
The regional channel Teleislas joins the first docu-reality on sustainable tourism in which the 8 regional public TV channels participate: TRO, Telepacifico, Telecaribe, Teleantioquia, Capital, Telecafé, Teleislas, and Canal 13. Each episode will be a meeting of regions in a representative place of tourism in Colombia.
Ruta Colombia is a co-production of the different regional channels in the country, in which we will choose ambassadors to go to different regions and have an important and interesting experience. In that sense, in Teleislas, we'll have the opportunity to choose 5 ambassadors. So the invitation is for you to take your digital device now and go to www.canal13.co/Ruta Colombia/registro and form part of it.
Those interested may register until October 5th, answering 5 questions about the motivations they have to travel in a video of maximum 2 minutes and filling out the form at www.rutaporcolombia.com.
Now it's time for Sport News with Victor Fusalva.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island. And this time, Caribbean Storm suffered his first loss against the 6-time champion Titanes of Barranquilla. Titanes defeated Caribbean Storm by a score of 84-56 in the Islanders' debut. An outstanding night for Solen De Luque from the Titanes, who recorded 22 points, 10 rebounds, and an assist, followed by the Puerto Rican Jonathan Rodriguez with 20 points and 8 rebounds. An Argentine, Salem Safar, who recorded some medium-distance shots to contribute to the victory of the Titanes of Barranquilla. A team that completely devastated in the 4 quarters of the match. Luis Almanza for the Islanders' performance was the best, scoring by 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. Andres Ibargüen did his thing. The other reinforcement did not contribute enough to cut down the lead, which turned into a defeat. Improvement is expected as they continue with the different games, as stated by Ivan Garcia.
One of the most difficult aspects is to begin to pick the rhythm. It is no secret to anyone that most of the teams arrive with adequate preparation for the season, but not with games of a level that allows to have an exact measurement of the construction that we have. But it does not mean that we are not on the path. We are building. The balance at this time is that we are starting. We are starting the tournament, and we are going to improve step by step. There is a slogan we have: regardless of the result today, a win or a defeat, we were going to take it as a constructive process. On that, we are focused, and that is the balance.
Caribbean Storm will be playing again tonight against the Titanes at the Elias Chewin Coliseum. And in another scenario, baseball is a tournament that attracts families to enjoy sports. Baseball, a traditional sport on the island archipelago that continues to be an attractive distraction for some parents. One of them who enjoys the Summer League Baseball tournament organized by the Departmental League is Edwin Leiva, together with his little son, who also has fun.
I come here today being a Sunday. I come with my son so that he can venture into the sport of baseball. I would like to invite you, as you would take out a Sunday any day to go to the beach. I invite you all to come and enjoy in the stands of the stadium a good breeze, a home run from Axel, and to encourage your children in sports so that they follow a good path.
Tradition and passion that fills the expectations of baseball fans is the baseball tournament that takes place at the Wellingworth Mays Stadium. And this will be all in sports for the moment. I am Victor Fusalva, Teleislas News.
Thank you, Victor. And with sport news, we reached to the end of this broadcast, but we see you tonight at 8 p.m. with more of Teleislas News. Good afternoon.